Have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you ever worn one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The Commander-in-Chief
Yes or no?
Can wear.
I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign. We have all worn the uniform. We've all served in combat. We all love our country. We all revere our troops. And I really want to speak with you both, not as partisans, but as patriots. And I want to talk specifically about the events at Fort Bragg the other day. General Kane, I want to start with you. As a junior officer, were you ever required to make a pledge of political loyalty? Yes or no?
Sir, as you know, we're an apolitical military, so, no.
Thank you. At any time in your 30-plus years of incredibly distinguished service, did you have to make a pledge of partisan or political loyalty?
No, sir.
Thank you. Did you ever serve in any unit or command at any level where service members were required to make a pledge of political loyalty?
No, sir.
Thank you. And I want to commend you. You've been on the record on this, including in your confirmation hearings where you clarified, quote, "I've never worn any political merchandise or said anything to that effect." I appreciate that. That is the standard, and I commend you for saying so and continuing to model that. General Kane, one last question for you. Should soldiers have to pledge political loyalty to participate in an event with our Commander-in-Chief? Yes or no, please.
Sir, I'm not. First, no. I'm not aware of any time in history that soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines have been asked to do that. I think. And
I'm sorry, General. I do want to, just in the interest of time, I want to talk about what happened at Fort Bragg 2 days ago. There was guidance put out, and this has been verified by multiple independent news outlets, saying, quote, these are to the soldiers of the 18th Airborne Corps and the U.S. Army. If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration, then they need to speak with their leadership and get swapped out. This is swapped out of the event with the President. In addition, in an incredibly disturbing incident, there was a pop-up shop selling MAGA merchandise on post at Fort Bragg. And to summarize this, there was a commander from Bragg who said on the record, quote, "This has been a bad week for the Army, for anyone who cares about us being a neutral institution. This was shameful." If those are the facts, and I know the Army is investigating at least the MAGA pop-up shop, is that appropriate, General Kane?
Sir, I haven't seen any of these reports. I'm not familiar with them, but as I mentioned earlier and in my confirmation hearing, the nation demands a apolitical, nonpartisan military.
I appreciate you saying that and happy to share those reports. Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10? Political activities of the members of the armed forces?
Well, first off, I don't buy into
yes
your
or no?
insinuation
Are you familiar
that pledges
with,
are being done under this administration. That's
I reclaim my
insinuation.
time. Are you familiar with this DoD directive?
There's never one time in my service or in this
Mr.
Defense
Secretary,
Department.
will you please answer
I'm answering your
these
question
questions?
where politics has been considered for service members.
Are you familiar with this directive? Yes or no?
Which directive?
DoD Directive 1344.10. I'm happy to provide you a copy. There's even a one-page red and green cheat sheet. Are you familiar with it? This is the same directive from when we were all in uniform.
I'm sure I am.
Has anything changed in that directive under your guidance, given what happened 2 days ago at Fort Bragg? Is there a new policy change that we're not aware of?
Again, I totally reject your insinuation.
Is there a policy change to DoD Directive 1344.10?
I know what you're attempting to insinuate, but there's
I'll
no
take that as a
policy
no.
change and there is no policy.
Mr. Secretary, have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you ever worn one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The commander-in-chief
Yes or no?
can wear whatever hat he wants, to include the phrase, "Make America Great Again," because I would like to
you
make
think
America
that's-
great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The commander-in-chief has the right, in front of his troops, to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you. And I urge you both, especially you, General Kane, as we see an increasingly political rhetoric, including from the Secretary, to please, for the good of our troops, this is an incredibly difficult moment, and we need leaders like you to continue to echo the apolitical nature. I have 12 seconds. Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign.
What we just witnessed from Pat Ryan wasn't a routine exchange. It was a rare moment of truth cutting through the noise, a direct challenge to power on one of the most sacred American principles, that the military must remain above politics. Because when the chain of command starts bending toward ideology, something breaks. Trust, the invisible glue that holds every platoon, every unit, every mission together. Trust that your orders are lawful. Trust that your commander's loyalty is to the Constitution, not a campaign slogan or a woke point. Trust that, regardless of belief, every soldier stands equal beneath the same flag. That's what's at risk when political symbols, partisan statements, or loyalty pledges begin to seep into the ranks. It's not about a hat. It's not even about one base or one administration. It's about the slow, silent corrosion of a principle that separates free nations from fragile ones. Because history has shown, over and over, once the military becomes an instrument of politics, democracy begins to decay from within, not through invasion, but through division, not through defeat, but through doubt. At Fort Bragg, the issue wasn't merchandise or morale. It was meaning. Who does the uniform serve? The Constitution or the man wearing the hat? The Department of Defense has clear rules to prevent that line from blurring. They exist not to suppress opinions, but to protect the very idea that soldiers defend all Americans equally, left, right, and everything between. Accountability is not a partisan demand. It's a patriotic one. Congress, the public, veterans, everyone must stay vigilant. Oversight isn't about theater. It's about trust. Because once that trust is lost, it doesn't come back easily. And this goes deeper than policy. It's about the oath every service member takes. Not to a politician, not to a party, but to an ideal written in the first promise of our nation. Liberty and justice for all. The message of Pat Ryan's confrontation isn't anger. It's alarm. It's a reminder that the uniform belongs to the people, not to politics. That the duty of every leader, every soldier, and every citizen is to defend the boundary that keeps the republic intact. Because a democracy doesn't collapse all at once. It erodes one compromise at a time. One wink at partisanship. One silence when neutrality is broken. And that's why vigilance matters. Not because we distrust our military, but because we honor enough to protect what makes it sacred. So when the next rally, the next photo op, or the next woke point moment blurs the line again, remember Fort Bragg. Remember who the uniform truly serves. And remember that silence in moments like that isn't neutrality, it's surrender.